Hare Krishna, welcome you all to our e-Gurukula sessions, and today is Sunday. As usual, we are studying the episodes of Bhagavad Gita, the chapters of Bhagavad Gita. So many nice verses are there about the Gita Mahatmya, what Bhagavad Gita is special about. So in the beginning of introduction, in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, in the introduction, Srila Prabhupada writes the glories of Bhagavad Gita. So one of the very nice words, it says, Sarvopanishado Gao Dugdha Gopalanandana. So all Upanishads are like a cow. And essence of cow is what? What is the essence of cow? We get?
Gita.
Milk. Milk is the essence of cow. Milk, the cow gets the grass, cow gets the water, and finally the milk comes as output. And that milk nourishes us when we drink, nourishes our brain tissues, especially cow milk. It's very, very good. So we should take cow milk. It nourishes our brain tissues, as Prabhupada says. So essence of cow is milk. Same way, Upanishads, Puranas, Itihasas, Sarvopanishado Gao. All Upanishads are like a cow. But essence of cow is Dugdha. That is the milk. And then who is a milkman? Who is a milkman for that cow? Who is removing the milk for us? Who is giving the milk for us? Any guess now, based on this analogy? Who is removing the milk? Lord Krishna. But if you know, there is a very strange thing about the cow. Cow doesn't give milk immediately. You know, on what condition cow starts giving milk? You have observed? Anyone knows? When the cow starts giving milk, actually, if you just go directly and start taking the udders, then it won't give. But when the calf is brought near, the baby calf, when the baby calf comes near and starts allow the baby calf to take the milk from the mother cow's udder, then the mother cow starts releasing the milk. And then what they do, after some time they remove the baby calf, and then the milkman takes the cow. Right. So because of the calf, the milk is able to take out. So who is a calf then? Because of whom the Bhagavad Gita is spoken by the Lord for all of this. Now, Arjun, perfect. So that calf is like Arjun. And who are the one who drinks that milk and enjoy the life, nourish the life themselves, relish the life?
Devotees.
Yeah, perfectly. The devotees of the Lord. Right. So very, very important to understand this message. And that's what repeatedly, there are so many times on and off we study Bhagavad Gita again and again. There is no end of this wisdom. It is ever fresh. Right? Sometimes we read a novel, comic and all, we get bored of. But Bhagavad Gita is not like that. It is ever fresh. And the more we try to read and discuss and try to understand and study amongst the devotees, that is important. Amongst the devotees, then more and more it reveals us understanding of that episode. So let us begin with the prayers so that we also get a proper understanding what are best our little efforts, so that our Guru Parampara and Lord Krishna will bestow us a good intelligence and we can apply our life, making our life more Krishna conscious. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanutam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namini Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvise Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rushabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So just take a quick recap. What are the discussion points? What are the acronyms of the chapter 1? Yes, quickly.
Doubt.
Doubt. D-O-U-B-T. Because Arjuna got a doubt. Shall I fight or not? So the dialogues of Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana and about just a minute. Yeah. So Arjuna was in a doubt. Shall I fight or not fight? Arjuna was confused. That's the dialogues of the Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, and ominous things are been visible around signs and uncertainty and bewilderment, and finally T for turning point. Sasrijya sasaram chapam shoka samvigna manasa. I don't want to fight. I'm confused. That's the first chapter, Vishada Yoga. Then second chapter, what is the acronym for the second chapter? Yes.
Gita.
What is that?
Gita.
Gita.
G-I-T-A.
Yeah, G-I-T-A. Because the whole Bhagavad Gita is summarized there. Right, whole Bhagavad Gita has been some contents of the Gita summarized. So that is the title, and that's what the acronym is made as G-I-T-A. So the Arjuna then finally makes an intelligent decision, accepts Lord Krishna as his guru. That's a G, guru. And that's what Karpanya Dosho Pahata Svabhava. And then the last line, Shishyasteham Chadimam Tvam Prapannam. I am a soul surrendered unto you. So please instruct me. I don't know what is right now. So that's why this is very, very most important. And Prabhupada has written so beautifully purport there. Right? Material world, always one is in a flux. Always one is in a confusion. Doesn't know what to do, how to do and all. So we need a guidance at all stages. And Prabhupada says, it behooves one to approach the necessity of accepting a spiritual master. So if one is not accepting, then surely one remains in ignorance, the darkness, confusion, bewilderment. So Arjuna, that's what so beautifully, right? As beginning we spoke about. So Lord Krishna used Arjuna because Arjuna was not perfectly surrendered to the Lord. He knows. So he's teaching through us. So Guru. And then Lord Krishna spoke about identity. Lord Krishna starts speaking. And then the two duties. After describing about we are not the body but the soul, that is Sankhya Yoga. Then Lord Krishna speaks about the Buddhi Yoga. He's the Swadharma and Sanatana Dharma. Both the duties he says, as a Kshatriya and as a devotee you should fight. And then finally, upon Arjuna's question, how to know who is stably situated, Sita Pradnyasya Ka Bhasha, his symptoms. Then the Lord Krishna describes about the qualities of Atmara. That's the second chapter, wonderfully concludes. And many, many important verses there also. How contemplating the object of senses, one gets carried away, and the cycle of fall down that happens. And how one should restrain one's senses. Kurumongani Vasarosha. So many, many nice verses are there. And one should not try to satisfy one's desires. That is Apuryamana Machalam Pratishtam. Third last or fourth last was there. It says, Rather, one who remains steady. Although the rivers are flushing into the ocean, gushing into the ocean, but ocean is calm, cool, collected. Ocean doesn't get agitated by the heavy waves of the river entering in. Like that, there are so many desires might be popping our mind, do this, do that, and all. One should try to remain steady. Instead of fulfilling those desires, one should try to control the mind and be peaceful. Then, sashanti mapnoti. Then the one will attain the everlasting peace. Na kama kami. One who is trying to fulfill those desires, he will not be able to. So that's what very, very amazing section that speaks about. Yeah. Then Arjuna gets the doubt. Because in the second chapter, Krishna spoke, Durena hi avaram karma, buddhi yoga dhananjaya. Keep all these abominable actions by the using of buddhi yoga. Then shall I fight or not? What is good? You are telling me to renounce also, you are telling me to fight also. And that's what the third chapter begins. Arjuna's question. He gets confused about, tell me clearly, what do you want me to do? Right. So what is acronym for third chapter we saw?
Tree.
Tree. TREE. Because tree, how to act when we conduct in this material world, how one should conduct oneself, when we live in this material world, how one should conduct oneself. So the tree acts selflessly. He gets the stone on him, but gives the fruits in return. He gets the sun and the heavy rains, but he gives the shadow and the shelter. He let allow his branches to get cut, but he gives the home and hearth for others. So that's the nature of the tree. Yeah, tree gives only whether one is bad or not. He doesn't see. He gives equally for everyone. So that is a standard of acting. So TREE. So what is a T for? Tyaga. That is a tyaga, correct? Renunciation of work or the fight, acting in the work. So that's about tyaga. And the R, what is R? That R is
Rungs of the ladder.
Yeah, rungs of ladder, rungs of yoga. I mean, yoga ladder. So different levels. So not following Vedic scriptures at all, then one just lives like animals. Then he follows the Vedas, that's karma kand, then karma, then sakama karma yoga, nishkama karma yoga, and how one should be. And then the example, this TREE, example. Whose example Lord Krishna gives to tell how one should act perfectly. Whose example Lord Krishna gives that? Yada acharati shreshtas tattadeve tarojana. So as the leaders do, the common masses also follows. So whose example Lord Krishna gives? Yes, anyone knows? Example of Janak Maharaj. Janakadaya, Lord Krishna says there in the third chapter. Like how King Janak ruled. Like that one should follow in one's life the duties. And many, many nice verses, especially that Sannyasa Adhyatma Tetaja, Yudhyasva Vigatachvara. Give up this lethargy, Arjun, get up and fight. And third chapter concludes with a very, very important section. Arjun asks again the question, oh Lord, you are telling me to, you describe all those things, but what is there in, you are telling me to act properly, but there is something within. Athakena prayuktoyam papam charati purusha. And that forces me to act in an abominable way. What is that? And then Lord Krishna describes the enemy, the greatest enemy. And who is that greatest enemy? That's what the E, right? Last E is for enemy only. Correct? What is the last E for?
Enemy of the soul.
Yeah, enemy of the soul. Yeah, correct. So that's what very logically it builds up. Yeah, Kama esha, Krodha esha, Rajoguna samudbhava. So this lust which is born out of the mode of passion, which turns into wrath. This is the greatest enemy. And then how the sitting places of this lust is mind, senses, and intelligence, and the different degrees of this lust as the smoke covering the fire, the mirror covered by the dust, and the womb covered by the embryo covered by the womb. Like that, the different degrees, the more grosser and grosser and grosser lust becomes. And then third chapter, Krishna concludes, buddhi, like how indriyani paramani, how different. So senses are superior to dull matter, mind is superior to senses, intelligence superior, and the self is stopping. So using our intelligence, Arjun, learn to conquer this enemy lust. And that's what the fourth chapter Lord Krishna starts speaking, the transcendental knowledge. And what is acronym? Knowledge should be
Ears.
knowledge should be heard using our ears. Arjun, are you hearing? So ears, EARS. So what is E for?
Eternal education.
कर दो.
265 बोला है हो जाएगा
Perfect.
या आलू का
जितना होगा या चलेगा. What is E for? Sorry. Shubham.
Eternal education.
Eternal education. Yeah. So this knowledge, what I have spoken, Arjun, don't think that I am speaking to you first. I mean, I have spoken already. Parampara, evam parampara praptam. That's what it's important to speak about. So yeah, I hope you're able to see here. Eternal education. And then, accurate understanding. Right? People think that all path leads to the same goal. And that's what they try to worship any gods. Full Kangshatam Karmana Siddhim Yajante Iha Devata. They worship so many gods and all thinking, but it's not. And that's what one should know. What is karma? What is akarma? What is akarma? Karmano hi api bodhavyam chavi karma. That's Krishna speaks about. And then how one can remove one's reaction of this work. Because we know now our action causes the reactions. So how one can remove unwanted reactions. So that's karma cycle is very, very nicely explained there. And then finally, types of sacrifice, of which the most important sacrifice is hearing for us. For a brahmachari, especially as a student, hearing is the sacrifice. This is a yajna kunda for us. And then allow the message to go in. Ahuti, put the ahuti of the message inside. And for everyone, it is being described for grahasthas and for different situated peoples and all. So without sacrifice, nothing can be made one auspicious. And the knowledge is the topmost. That's what finally Lord Krishna concludes. This knowledge is the topmost one. That's what a very famous verse is, Tadvidhi Pranipatena, how one should acquire that knowledge by humbly submitting oneself. So this is how the 4th chapter goes off. Now let's begin with the 5th chapter, Karma Yoga. Now the knowledge we learned, the karma also how to act and things and all. But how to that Karma Yoga perfects until we don't connect to Krishna. So Karma Yoga, karma means only action, and yoga means when it connects to the Supreme. So Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada is given a very brilliant names in English, very, very nice. And that's what it is written, a step. So let's read. Yeah. Anyone like to read this description?
We are active beings constantly making plans for our future, Our thoughts manifest in actions. Repeated action form habits. Those habits make up our character, and that character determines our destiny. As Teilhard de Chardin famously commented, we are not human beings on a spiritual journey, but rather we are spiritual beings on a human journey. Every journey starts with a step. And in chapter 5, Krishna explains how to take steps in the right direction. There are steps leading to further entanglement in worldly complexities, but there are also steps leading to a life of liberation, freedom, and tranquility.
Perfect. Right. So we are not a human being on a spiritual journey, but we are spiritual beings on a human journey. We are this human body, right? We have this human body. We are the soul. We have this human body. So sometimes we think that, okay, let us try spiritual journey. No, already we are a spiritual being. Already our path is we are on the life of spiritual destination only. Now we are in the human body, on a human journey. So now all the actions, sacrifice, everything is being described. Now how to act, that's described in the 5th chapter. Okay. So let's see. Yeah. As for stay in the world, three doers, equal vision, and the peace formula. Finally, equal vision also is a very, very important verse. How while living in this world, how one should. Yeah. So let's see one by one. Yeah. Stay in the world. S. Verses 1 to 12. Arjun is still confused. Despite Krishna's explanation in chapter 3, Arjun still considers work and renunciation to be mutually exclusive path. Exclusive means you get the point, right? You work Or renunciation means you should not work. Just remain idle. Shanti, shanti, shanti. But here work in a spirit of renunciation, that's Krishna consciousness. So, I mean, Arjun looks like still confused. Thus, Krishna elaborates on how an individual who works in a spiritual consciousness is automatically elevated to the platform of renunciation. So that's the secret. Working in Krishna consciousness naturally takes one to the level of highest level of renunciation. If one engages in a righteous work, offering the results to God, and all the while keeping alert to the ultimate goal, then such work becomes worship. Work is worship. It's a famous, karma hi puja hai. But when it is connected to God, when the results are offered to the God, otherwise donkey is doing a lot of work, but his work is not counted as a worship. Prabhupada used to say. Right? So this is very, very important. Offering the results to the God and while keeping alert to the ultimate goal, then such work becomes worship. For most people, it would be premature and detrimental to sever themselves from the worldly relationships and duties in pursuit of a spiritual perfection. So, right, spiritual perfection demands some kind of a proper alignment of our life. So it becomes difficult for the people to things becomes. So thus the path of karma yoga offers a progressive means. So it gives a step for everyone. Like let's say from going from here to there directly becomes difficult. So if you step in between, then it becomes very easy to progress. Okay, I can also progress in my life. So that's what it is being written. Development while simultaneously staying in the world. Just as a lotus leaf is surrounded by water but remains completely dry. Padma Patra Ivam Dhasa. That verse will come here, I think. One can stay in the world and still remain aloof from its influences. So Lord Krishna throughout Bhagavad Gita gives many, many amazing analogies. Tortoise, and then the enemy, and then now here it is being given about previous also we saw the fire of knowledge burns the sinful reactions, right? And one more, I think, weapon of knowledge, shoot the ignorance, like that in the fourth.
And vote of knowledge.
Sorry, which one?
Vote of knowledge also.
Vote of knowledge. 1 minute, yeah, some of this. Yeah, boat, correct. Yeah, boat of knowledge. We can cross over this, correct. And now here the lotus leaf. So analogies are in a parampara. That's why analogy makes us very easy to learn and understand these facts. So let us give the quick recap, quick study of these 12 verses. I'll open this here. Vijay. That's a 5.1 is very famous, the Brahma Samhita chapter. Open from here. Yeah. So I hope you are able to see the screen right. Yeah. So again, Arjun puts the question. Sannyasam karmanam Krishna punaryogam cha samsasi yashreye tayor ekam tanme bruhi sunishtam. एक चीज बताओ कृष्णा, पक्का एक चीज बताओ, क्या करना है? संन्यास करना है या काम करना है? बोलो. So that's what Arjuna is demanding again. So very, very beautiful. Arjuna is being used as an instrument by the Lord. So make it very, very easy. So that's what it is being written. Simultaneously work and the renunciation. But if one performs work in devotional service, then how the work is stopped? So that's what it is very, very beautiful is being given. Now Krishna starts speaking. Sannyasa karma yogascha nishreyas karavubhav tayostu karma sannyasat karma yogo vishishyate. Personality regarding the renunciation of work and the work in devotion are both good for liberation. But of the two, work in devotional service is better than renunciation of work. So see, renunciation of work and work in devotion are both good for liberation. But of the two, work in devotional service is better than the renunciation of work. So this is very, very important concept. So that's what Prabhupada, when he established ISKCON society, it's not that we have to just sit. You can check with our devotees. Anybody in temple or in the homes, devotees are there. Everyone is constantly busy with so many devotional engagements. So work, but in a devotional service. So when Bhakti Prabhupada translated, Bhakti Prabhupada wrote as not only devotion. Prabhupada translated Bhakti word as, anyone knows? Prabhupada translated word Bhakti. Bhakti karna hai. People listen up. Bhakti karo. Means people think that, okay, devotion hai, devotion karo. No, Bhakti means devotional service. That is the right meaning. So this is so very, very important. Anyway, we're just giving a short study here, but very, very important concept with the example. The Prabhupada quotes about Vairagyam Falgu. So if falsely one gives up the things which are in connection, Hari Sambandhi Vastuna. Like say now we are getting a computer and things, and it can be used for sharing Krishna consciousness, but falsely one says, oh no, this is Maya, this not be. Then this is called as a Vairagyam Falgu Kathyate, false Vairagyam. Then it's not, one should know how to use the things. Their renunciation is not complete, it's called as incomplete. So of course, that's require a lot of proper training. It's not so easy to engage everything in Krishna service, but one should know how, that's what one should learn from our superiors. And then Krishna speaks about one who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities is known to be always renounced. Means he's not bothered about the fruits. He is bothered about his offering service to the Lord. Free from dualities, easily cross over the material bondage, becomes completely liberated. So sometimes what happens in the world, people are attached to the results. Kitna result aega, kya milega? But Krishna consciousness, yeah. Just one thing devotee wants as a service of the Lord. Lord should be pleased. Yeah, free from dualities means, yeah, neither of the, oh, I got a very good result, so I'm very happy now. Oh, I did not got a good result, so I am sad now. So these are dualities, extremes, good or bad, whatever it happens. But then devotees focus. Although, okay, fine, I did not, let me step in properly, let me understand. But I will not never give up my service to the Lord. It's so free from dualities. Okay. Only the ignorant speaks of devotional service as being different from the analytical study. So Sankhya and Karma. Sankhya means Sankhya. Sankhya means numbers, countings. So this Sankhya Yoga was spoken by Lord Kapila to Mother Devavati. That will come later. All of you learn about this. So that's same as Karma Yoga only. Only it is Krishna says, only foolish or ignorant, they think that that is different. That is just a study. But no, everything should be learned in a perspective of Krishna consciousness. And that's what Lord has spoken this. And then one who knows that the position reached by means of analytical study can also attain by devotional levels, and who therefore sees analytical study and devotionals to be on the same level, sees things as they are. So same thing basically. The Vedic studies should lead one to the conclusion of Krishna consciousness. So Vedas are meant to uplift one to the gradual stage of complete surrender to the Supreme Lord. So, but then if somebody separates that goal, that's what then it will create a wrong results. So yeah, that's what Prabhupada says. The real purpose of philosophical research is to find the ultimate goal of life. That is self-realization. And then merely renouncing all activities yet not engaging in devotional service of the Lord cannot make one be happy. But a thoughtful person engaged in the devotional service can achieve the supreme without delay. So in the spiritual world, right? What is that verse? Jivera Swarupa Hoye Krishnera Nitya Das. Das means not that he sits in a silence. Das means in a service. So service is a constant. That is the only connection we have with our spiritual master, Guru Parampara, and the Lord Krishna ultimately. If one doesn't want to do service, want to remain Shanti, then come to Brahman. Or want for himself and personal things, then come to material world. Brahman, because by default one cannot remain permanently. Soul nature is to active ones. So merely renouncing, but not rendering the service of the Lord, this one cannot become happy for it. So we see many Babajis, or in the sense false people. Prabhupada writes here, the Vaishnava sannyasis who are engaged in the devotional service are happy in their duties, and they have guarantee of ultimate entrance into the kingdom of God. Whereas the Mayavad sannyasis, they fall down from the path of Krishna, again entering the material activities because not engaging in the devotional service. So that's what it is, very, very important. So just follow what Prabhupada has given us. Prabhupada has so scientifically have established, taking the Guru Parampara and given us the perfect society. Nothing new we need to do. Follow. One who works in devotion, who is a pure soul and who controls his mind and senses, is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled. So work in devotion. So karya hi, karma hi, seva, worship. Work is worship. Karma hi puja hai. That happens only when one understands his connection, offering the results to the Lord. Then one doesn't get affected by that karma. Now, a person in divine consciousness, although engaged in seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, moving about, sleeping, and breathing, always knows within himself that he actually does nothing at all. So he is doing all those functions of the eyes, mouth, tongue, and ears, and the nose, and the skin, and everything. But he understands that he is not doing anything. Because while speaking, evacuating, receiving, or opening or closing his eyes, he always knows that only the material senses are engaged with their objects and that he is aloof from them. So who is that he mentioned here? That he is aloof. The soul remains always spiritual. He doesn't get caught up with the. So it is material senses with the sense objects. That's all. But the soul is always aloof from such things. But in Krishna consciousness, what happened? Body itself becomes spiritualized. When, like Srila Prabhupada or the pure souls, their body itself is spiritual. Their senses are there. They're not material senses. Whereas for conditioned souls like us, we are practicing and all. Till now, we have still material things. So, but then one should know that the senses are not what we get actually our true self. We are separate from that. So don't get confused if you're feeling a bit technical, but we can have oral reception. Surely Lord will give the good understanding with us. So some steps we step in. Right? Nowadays technical knowledge is so much there bombarding, but still we have to practice and memorize and do. So Bhagavad Gita is a great. Try to pray to the Lord surely. This is a very, very important verse. Brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam taktva karotiya lipyate na sapapena padma patram ivambasa. We can remember this word, padma patram ivambasa. As a lotus leaf remains aloof from the contamination, untouched by the water. Same way the devotee of the Lord, while working in this world, because he's not doing for his fruitive results, he's offering the results unto the Supreme Lord, he also remains. So Arjun, you might be thinking that by killing the soldiers here, you are going to get a sinful reaction. But you do it as an offering to me. Then you will not get affected. Because Arjun said, no, one of the reasons, sinful reaction, I will be overpowered. Why shall I fight? So beautiful. Krishna gives a very, very important analogy. The lotus leaf is untouched by the water. The one who works without attachment, surrendering the results to the Lord, is unaffected by sinful reaction. So 5.10. Take a note, important verse. And Kayana Manasa Buddha Kaivalendriya Yogina Karma Kurvanti Sangam Taktam Ashuddhaya. The yogi is abandoning attachment, acts with the body, mind, intelligence. Kayana Manasa Buddha. And even with the senses, only for the purpose of purification. That's what the goal of our human life is, self-realization. And that's what Tapo Divyam Putrakayana Sattvam. We have to perform tapasya for the purification from this material contamination, and then one will realize one's true self. So that's what one should lead one's life. So very, very amazing these principles actually. Great Lord Krishna has spoken. Now, the steadily devoted soul attains unadulterated peace. Shashvatam Shanti. The Shashvat word might be there. Yeah. Shanti Mapnoti Naishtikim. Naishtiki Shanti. Naishtiki means again the unadulterated, undisturbed. Yeah, here word they might again Naishtikim, unflinching. It's not that today I got a peace, tomorrow I am getting disturbance. No, he forever he is peaceful. That's the benediction here of such practice, because he offers the result of all activities to me. Whereas a person who is not in union with the divine, who is greedy for the fruits of his labor, becomes entangled. So bhog and seva, bhoga vritti and seva vritti. We have a choice. Ravana was with the bhoga vritti, Hanuman was with the seva vritti. So that's what very, very beautifully it is being explained. So let's go to the next section about the step. Stay in the world, how one should stay. One should understand we are aloof from these material senses and things, and work just like a lotus leaf doesn't get contaminated by the water. Now the three doers. Yes, anyone like to read? Three doers, verses 13 to 16. While living in this world, however, one can easily assume the mentality that they are the director, the controller, and the breadwinner. In reality, Krishna explains that there are three doers in any activity: the individual soul, the super soul, and the material nature. So try over. Jiva desires, super soul sanctions, and nature arranges. Like that, this thing happened. What to speak of controlling the results of our activities? We are barely in control of even the physical and mental tools with which we have to perform those activities. We cannot control our even the senses also. So what to speak of results of our activity? The individual soul can only desire. That's what I said. The soul desires, then sanctioned by the God as a super soul, and then the Prakriti arranges. Then the ability to perform that activity comes from Prakriti, which arranges the necessary capacities. Just as an infant lacks the ability to ride a bike, but can still pretend to do so with the help of the stabilizers, in this world, the individual soul is constantly supported by the super soul in the heart, who provides all the knowledge, inspiration, and facilities to function. Okay. So Jiva thinks that he is a controller, he is a breadwinner. That mentality one has, but one should know how it happens. Our function is only desire. Until the super soul sanctions, not possible. Nothing can be happened. So very nice example our teacher is writing here. The infant who lacks, but he pretends to do so with the help of stabilizers. You know, in the cycle for early children, those are not knowing, there is some supportive wheels, side two wheels, small wheels. Apart from the front and rear, side two small wheels are there to balance. So stabilizers. Like that, the individual soul in this world is being supported, guided by the super soul. So amazing. So these are the verses from 13 to 16. Only 4 verses. Let's see what is being explained here. Navadware pure dehiya. Navadware, 9 holes. The city of 9 gates. Our body has 9 holes. So that is been this verse here. Yeah. When the embodied living controls his nature and mentally renounces all actions, he resides happily in the city of 9 gates. City means this body, material body. 9 gates are there. 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, the mouth, and the lower parts, 2 parts. So neither working nor causing work to be done. So that's what such person can live happily in this city of 9 gates. And then here it has been explained. The embodied spirit, master of the city of his body, does not create activities, nor does he include people to act, nor does he create the fruits of actions. All this is enacted by the modes of materialists. So the spirit soul is aloof. He is not the, kind of a reason for the actions. So actually material nature makes one to think. So what is that word? Subhavastu pravartate. So that's when it's being subhava, the modes of material nature. Yeah. And then, nor does the Supreme Lord assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered because of the ignorance which covers their real knowledge. Yeah. So Supreme Lord, in the last verse we say, Krishna says, Aham tuam sarva papyabhyo. He takes all the one's sins, provided one surrenders to the Supreme Lord. But otherwise, if not, then one Supreme Lord also doesn't assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. Right? So that's what, because one remains in ignorance. And then, when, however, one is enlightened with the knowledge by which science is destroyed, then his knowledge reveals everything as the sun lights up everything in the daytime. Okay, there's a projected. Okay. So I think that's what here the up to 4 verses it is being mentioned for this thing. Yeah. 13 to 16 and then here 17 to 26 equal vision. Now let's see. So this section, remember, okay, who are the doers? The soul desires, and then the super soul. So the 3 modes it is being spoken about material nature, which is actually arranges, but under the sanction of the super soul, who is like a supporter, and the soul desires. That's what the 3 things are being explained. And now here it comes very important, this section, equal vision. Yes, anyone is there who would like to read verses 17 to 26?
Yeah, Prabhu, can I read, Prabhu?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, okay, Prabhu. Equal vision, verses 17 to 26. Since the super soul resides in every living being, the advanced spiritualist is able to see every life form, be it plant, animal, or human, as a temple of God. In this way, utmost respect is given to every living being. Different bodies with different qualities are produced according to one's past actions, yet each entity is the same spiritual quality. Thus, the spiritualist is not only free of racism, nationalism, ageism,
Yeah.
ageism and sexism, but also speciesism.
There were many isms, but speciesisms also. So one doesn't differentiate between a human and an animal also. So equal vision, Pandita Samadarshina. So very, very important verse section it is. So let's see. Because of one who understands with this knowledge. So yeah, so 17 to 26. When one's intelligence, mind, faith, and all is fixed in the Supreme, then one becomes fully cleansed of the misgivings through complete knowledge and thus proceeds straight on the path of liberation. The doubts, things are being cleared, ignorance is not. Gachantya punaravritim jnana nirdhuta kalmasham. So these are the words are mentioned. Tad buddhyas, tad atmanas, tad nishtas, tad paranta parayana. Buddhi means intelligence, atma means here the word is being used for the mind, and faith and a refuge. So completely, then he never detours his journey. And this is a famous verse. Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavihastini shuni chaiva shvapake cha pandita samadarshina. So people want to have a vasudhaiva kutumbakam, the whole world as a one family. How it will be possible? Bhagavad Gita gives the extreme heights also. As a humanity, everyone wants that level. For that also the countries are fighting. But here Bhagavad Gita gives the light what to speak of a human, even the other living entities, or even the lower class of the people also. Shvapakecha. So these are the people are been mentioned. The humble sage, by the virtue of a true knowledge, sees with the equal vision a learned, a gentle Brahman, a cow and an elephant, a dog and a dog eater. So human or a Brahman or up to the cow also, all right, because cow is a worshipable. Elephant, okay, fine. Elephant also can be considered a good animal, but a dog, in a Vedic culture, dog is not a pet animal. It's not a pure animal, but dog also can be seen with the equal vision. And a dog eater, what to speak of a Brahmana and all, here is being compared like a dog eater also. Yeah, Prabhupada said, I am dog, elephant, couched. No. Yeah, Prabhupada was explaining about the equanimity of seeing with everyone. So what is that he sees everyone with the equal vision? Yeah, got the point. What does he see that? What is that equal vision?
Super soul in like everyone.
Yeah, super soul is present. That's why everybody is a temple. And then all are the children of the Lord, the soul. So that's what it's very, very important. That's why our ISKCON society, we don't discriminate. That only Indian born, only Brahman caste, only such people. Prabhupada went right into the hippie land, where God knows what culture they had or things. But still Prabhupada gave them. So that's the glory of this power of Krishna consciousness. A Krishna conscious person does not make any distinction between species or castes. So just we have to understand now in our family, how we treat our brother, how we treat our sisters, mothers, fathers. Do we have same affection with our other classmates, our other devotee friends who are coming and discussing? Or do we create some kind of a differences also? Right? Why? Because we identify still with the bodily thing only. Oh, because he is my brother, because he is my father, and that's what we have a connection. So I love them. Whereas with the other people and all, we don't see them because that's what naturally we're conditioned with the material outlook, relativity. But absolute knowledge makes one understand Supreme Lord is a father. We all are children of God. So why to distinguish? And whose famous example you get from the Srimad Bhagavatam, who did not discriminate it. People were coming and begging from him. He was going on giving without discrimination. Although that,
Like
yes.
king will give like it's like fasting.
Yeah. What is his name? Yeah, what is?
I read that canto, but like I cannot remember the name. They give like
Anyone remember that name of the king who was going on giving? He fasted for a year and 48 days. 48 days, and then the time came for the fast break, and then the Brahman comes, and then the Shudra comes, and then the person carrying the dogs, he comes, and finally Chandala also comes. Now you're writing, yeah, Ranti Dev, correct. I was also trying to recollect, somehow just missed. Yeah, thank you. So the king Ranti Dev. So how it is, and that's what they all turn into the great personalities. They were testing him, and that's what it was a benedicted. So that's what is very, very important to see. At least we should try to deal everyone with a respectful way. Dealing everyone with affection and love, and I mean that's very high stage, but at least in a proper respect, proper maturity, not to criticize anybody, and respecting everyone, giving a chance, sharing with everyone at least. That much level at least one should try. That's possible at least. And then surely with such attitude, Krishna will give more and more. So very, very important words, 5.18. 5.10, 5.18, nice verses. Now, those whose minds are established in the sameness and equanimity have already conquered the conditions of birth and death. They are flawless like Brahman, and thus they are already situated in Brahman. So this is spoken about the Brahman. So equanimity, no differences. Sthira buddhi, a person who neither rejoices upon achieving something pleasant nor laments upon obtaining something unpleasant, who is self-intelligent, who is unbewildered, and who knows the science of God, is already situated in transcendence. Is already perfect. So sthira buddhir word is used. Sthira buddhir asammudho, is not a fool. He is a fixed with a proper unbewildered. Now, such a liberated person is not attracted to material sense pleasure, but is always in a trance, enjoying the pleasure within. In this way, the self-realized person enjoys unlimited happiness, for he concentrates on the Supreme. So real happiness, this is very amazing verse, 5.20, very important. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukhaye naiva evate adi antavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. So if we don't able to come to that platform, one thing is that I will gratify my senses. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga. Aap sparsh karo objects ko, naturally dukhaye naiva evate. Yoni. Yoni means giving a birth to what? Dukkha only. You do bhoga, it gives the dukkha. Or somebody say beginning may be a little problem. I'll continue, I'll enjoy more. No. Adi anta vanta kaunte. In the beginning, in the middle, in the end, everywhere it gives trouble only. Intelligent man doesn't relishes in that. Nateshu ramate buddha. So these are very, very important words. We can give so many examples, so many case studies and all we can take and understand, look into, like let's say gulab jamun. Man thinks that let me take gulab jamun and eat it. This gives me. So you start, if you don't control mind and senses and go unfinished, stomach ache, then the tooth pain, and then the whole day is wasted, everything gone. So that's what is written. The contact, miseries are produced due to the contact with the material senses. Man and woman comes, the babies are produced. Sense and sense objects comes, the miseries are produced. That's what we have to, now we cannot avoid sense and sense objects, but then what we have to do, connect to Krishna consciousness. how I'm using my senses, right? That's what, then one becomes a wise man. One doesn't delight in such sense pleasures. Rather, they give only birth to miseries only, dukkha yoni. So, very, very important verse. And this is Shaknoti Haivaya Sodum Praksharir Vimokshanat Kama Krodod Bhavam Vegam Sayukti Sayukta Sasukhinara. Shaknoti Vai Yasodum tolerates. Before giving up the present body, if one is able to tolerate the urges of the material senses. So Krishna is telling tolerate means what? It is going to come. Our senses are also going to demand. That's what Rupa Goswami, Srila Rupa Goswami also writes in the Upadeshamrita, first verse. Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam. So Vegas will be there, forces of the tongue, the belly, all this mind, anger, everything will come, but one should learn to tolerate and check the force of desire and anger. He will be situated, and that's what he is well situated and happy in this world. Sa Sukhi Naraha. What is it? Sa Yukta, Sa Sukhi Nara. He's a well situated. People ask, now, how are you? Say, I am fine. If you are really fine, then we have to check, are we learning to control the urges of senses and tolerate? Or are we giving out oneself to those demands of the senses? Then that will be decided. And then one whose happiness is within, who is active, rejoices within, whose aim is inward, is actually the perfect mystic. So happiness sought to be within. Happiness is not something from outside in. Okay, if I get that object, if I do that, I will enjoy, I will get happy. No, happiness has to be brought from within, right? It has to be experienced. So here it is given. You know that story, na? Once in our wisdom tell we discussed the treasure hunt. Thief was searching for a basket, this briefcase here, there, everywhere. But the owner had kept a briefcase under the thief's berth only. So like that, happiness is within ourselves. We need not to try to find the happiness from the world outside. So here Krishna says, he is a liberated and ultimately attains the supreme. Very, very nice. Huh? Nice points we are getting today to study 5.24. And then those who are beyond the dualities, then who are always busy working for the welfare of all living beings and who are free from all sins, achieves liberation in the supreme. So selfless service, one who continues, the devotional service counts everything. And then those who are free from anger and all material desires, who are self-realized, self-disciplined, and constantly endeavoring for perfection, endeavors. It's not that Krishna is not written one who is perfect. One should continue endeavors constantly, never to give up, are assured of liberation in the supreme in the very near future. Yeah. Self-realized, self-disciplined. Discipline is important for us. What is that word? Is Avito Brahma Nirvanam Vartate Viditatmana. So very near future. There's the Prabhupada. Here the word Abhita. Abhita means assured in the near future. The result is guaranteed. Follow this practice, a happy life. And then the last two verses, and then the last verse is again important. Shutting out all external sense objects, keeping the eyes. So this verse connects to the next chapter. Okay, this verse, because this is ending now, that brings out the next chapter, Dhyana Yoga. So shutting the sense objects, keeping the eyes and vision concentrated between the two eyebrows, suspending inward and outward breaths within the nostrils, thus controlling the mind, sense, and intelligence, constantly aiming at liberation, becomes free from desire, fear, and anger. One who is always in this state is certainly liberated. So of course, now we cannot get with all those things and all. So 6th chapter repeatedly Prabhupada says in the purports, not 6th everywhere also. Krishna conscious is the only method to practice that. So Krishna is now going to start the next section, because after Jnana, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, now Dhyana Yoga, right? So that's how the 6th chapter will come. And then the final step, the peace, P, verse 29. Yeah, read someone quickly so that we are into the time now. P for peace, verse 29. Because
Chapter emphasizes the temporary nature of our stay in this world. We come into this world with nothing and we leave with nothing. In the interim, our claims to proprietorship and attachments to various objects create fear, insecurity, and conflict. Change is a constant theme in this world. Our relationships are changing, environment changing, our possessions are changing, and our desires are also changing. To the extent that we develop a sense of detachment, understanding the Supreme Lord to be the proprietor and ourselves as simply caretakers, to that extent we can experience a sense of peace within. Interestingly, it is inner peace that brings about a global peace and a community of individuals who are free from attachment, greed, envy, and
Covetous.
covetousness.
Yeah, covetousness.
What
Covetousness.
covetousness
Yeah.
is what this world really needs.
Now, covetous means kind of insecurity, kind of worries or fearful things of this. Yeah. Mean-mindedness. That's mean. So the peace, the change is the constant thing. Change is the constant thing. Very, very amazing statement. Everything changes. Our body changes, people changes, relationships, environment, possessions, desires. Right. So, but then one who understands who we are just a, what is written here, remember, anyone noted? We are just like Supreme Lord is the proprietor, but we are simply, what is that word? Remember that word, because that is our position. We are simply caretakers. Yeah, caretakers. Caretakers. Here you are able to see as simply caretakers. Like, let's say, I give you this device. Okay, you take this dongle, take this with you. So if I say this is mine, then that's not a correct. This is given to me to use, but if it is asked, I have to return back it. So same thing, all our intelligence, beauty, knowledge, abilities, everything is awarded by the Supreme Lord. He is the omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresence. So that's what one should know. He is a Bhagavan. All opulences belongs to him. We are his tiny part and parcel. So we get in a minute quantity. So then naturally one will not be proud. One will not be anxious also to lose also. Because one knows that Lord is the one who gave me. Lord is the one who will take away. And which famous example you remember from Bhagavatam? Very, very brilliantly he concluded this same lesson. It was the Lord who gave me the ability, and now it is the Lord who took away also.
Was it Bali Maharaj?
Okay, fine. Bali Maharaj. Correct. And yeah, that's also very good example. Correct. Yeah. But there is one verse which is spoken directly in the similar line, exact line. I am the same person. I am having the same weapon. But now, why the powers are not working? Because it is the he who gave me. Now it is the he who has taken away. So
Was it Parshuram?
no, not Parshuram. It's Arjun. Arjun says when he brings the wives of Lord Krishna, simple fiddle covered boys, they take away the wives, defeating Arjun with the stone and the sticks. Then Arjun says, come on, I am the same Arjun. I am having same Gandiva bow. Now, why I am not able to defeat the small children now? It is the Lord who took away the powers. It is the Lord who gave me. Then Arjun was peaceful. In the sense, he was not like, come on, how can this happen? How can this go? So this is a very, very important verse. With that, we'll conclude. Bhoktaram yatna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram surudam sarvabhutanam nyatvam shantim ruchyati. This is a peace formula. There is one very nice song made by our his Maharaj, his name is Shankar Shandas Adhikari Maharaj. Peace formula. I'll try to share with you. On this he says basically, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He is a Bhokta, he is a proprietor of all sacrifices, and he is a Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He is in charge of everything around. Surudam is a well-wisher of all living entities, and one who knows these things, Natva Mam Shantim Richati. He will attain the everlasting peace. A person in full conscious of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices. Sarva Yajna Tapasam, Bhuktaram Yajna Tapasam, and austerity, Supreme Lord of all the planets and the demigods, Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, Surudam, the benefactor and well-wishers of all living entities. Shantim Richati, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. So very, very beautiful chapter, very short chapter, but nice step in how to step ourselves, how to understand who we are. We are not the doer, we are just simply a desirers. And then the Lord is the one who sanctions. So how to stay in this world? That's the beginning 1 to 12. So we discuss about that. Acting in devotional service, not falsely giving up. Right? And then the three doers, like modes are driving under the sanction of the super soul, were simply desirers. An equal vision. Pandita Samadarshina, 17 to 26. And that's what such person attains the peace, happiness, real happiness. Yehi samsparsha bhoga, dukkha yona vayevate. That also we saw. Yeah, first stay there. How to stay? Remember the lotus example. Stay like a lotus, not to get affected while being in the affected place. And then such life will make one peace, will attain the peace, knowing that the Supreme Lord is the ultimate. We are simply the caretaker. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So the step STEP, stay in this world, and then the T for what? Three doers, and then the STE, E for what? Equal vision. Yeah, yes. And finally, P for peace. Okay. Thank you all very much for joining. We have to contemplate on this, and any actions we do and all, that's why we have to pray to the Lord. You are the one. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Then the Lord will award whatever is needful for us. We will not get affected. Thank you all very much for joining. Let us end with Vaishnava Pranam. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granthara Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.